All right, so this video is gonna be just a bit different. We're just gonna talk about the Sim Racing Expo 2025 in Chicago. I went there last week. It was a really good time. I went with my dad. I didn't bring like really solid interviewing gear, like to interview people or to get wide angles. I did bring this camera, which is kind of hard to film yourself with. So I'm more or less just gonna talk about the day and just kind of show some B-roll over the back. And this really isn't meant to be super informative, just kind of my experience at the Expo. And for the first time ever, I was a special guest somewhere. That was pretty cool. You know, I talked to Whitney before I went to the Expo, and we were wondering, she's like, you know, the YouTube channel's got some subscribers now, and it's been seen by millions of people across all the platforms. So do you think you'll be recognized? And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's a room full of sim racers. I think so. And I did. I got recognized like 4 or 5 times, and people approached and they were really nice. It was really cool to hear from just general viewers of the channel. Everybody loves the comedy content, which further pushes me to do things like that. That's what I enjoy more than anything on this channel. So it was really cool to talk to people and hear their perspectives. So as it turns out, I am recognizable. Maybe it's the big ass nose or something of the sort, but this is my new friend,
Nick.
Nick, yeah. Well, nice to meet you, Nick.
Nice to meet you.
I'm officially recognized. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, dude, for real. Thanks for watching the content stuff. I appreciate it. So a big part of the Sim Racing Expo for creators is to network with companies. You go there and you talk to companies and you're like, hey, this is what I do. Nobody knew who I was until I pulled up the short with Whitney, the first date short. As soon as I showed them this skit with Whitney, they're like, I've seen you, you know? And all of a sudden, interest drummed up, you know? So I did network with quite a few companies, including companies like SimuCube and companies like SimLab, stuff like that. So hopefully collaborations with people like that in the future. So the big thing for me was I would walk away from the weekend with some new relationships, and I definitely did. No offense to our first responders, but this goatee, I'm looking at it in the little monitor up there, I'm really hitting my like volunteer firefighter part of my adulthood. Yeah. But let's talk about the Sim Racing Expo as a whole. I only went on Saturday. I spent Friday roaming around Chicago with my dad. We just had kind of like a guys hangout day, and that was a lot of fun. And then when we got to the conference on Saturday, it was way busier than I expected. We got there right as it started, and I was going around filming, and I was telling myself, oh, I need to go get into one of those giant sim rigs, like the Podium one, which costs like $100K plus. And I was like, well, I'll do it later. That was a mistake because the conference got so busy that people were actually booking their times with QR codes. So I totally missed out on like the giant simulators like Podium 1. But I did get to actually test some full motion. I know a lot of people were asking if I was gonna do that. It was full motion. It even had like the sway bar in the back. It was pretty cool. I will say, like, I feel like motion in a sense is definitely one of those novelty items. Like, you gotta have the money and you gotta just want to have like a novelty, like kind of that thing you're like, hey dude, check this thing out that I have. Because after about 5 minutes on it, I was like, oh, this is cool, but now that I'm locked into the lap times, I've already kind of forgot that it's happening. You know, like, I don't know. So to me, I view motion as maybe not gimmicky. I think novelty is the best word for it. I think it's really cool. It was really neat to be like going up a hill in the car to, you know, rock backwards or tilt forward under braking, things like that. I think my favorite part of the motion rig was the belt tensioners. That rig had belt tensioners on it, and something about being under heavy braking and being pulled to the seat was awesome. And I've only seen good stuff about people talking about the belt tensioner systems. So maybe in the future, that's something I would be excited to have on the rig, but I don't really think I'm chasing motion over here on the channel. First of all, there's no room for it in this tiny room. But second, it just doesn't really hit home with me, you know? I kind of like the haptics too, you know? Just giving me viral information. So it's interesting. I thought I would be more blown away by it, which is, I don't know, it was just an interesting experience. So this rig, the screen opens like a door and then the wheel comes over your lap. Can you imagine someone knocking on your door while you're sitting in that thing? Like, what the fuck? I got to see some very high-end sim racing equipment. You wonder sometimes why GS1 sells wheels for like $1,600. I still think the price is crazy, but the wheels, they're pretty premium. I've never held anything that like premium feeling, from the button clicks to the material they're made of. Those wheels are unbelievably superior to anything I've seen in sim racing. So I get the price tag, but at the same time, like, you'll never see me spending over $1,000 on a wheel. To me, that's insane talk. But then again, I I put myself more in the category of like fun sim racing than like super serious. So that kind of makes sense. We go over to booths like SimLab, which is pretty cool. I didn't really know SimLab made pedals and wheels and things like that. I thought they were a seat company. This shows you how much I do research on sim racing stuff on a general day. But SimLab was really cool. They were really nice over there. Their Mercedes wheel was really cool. It had like rocker shifters, and then it had like a clutch on it that was like a big paddle. They said it was modeled directly after the actual wheel from the car. It's very interesting, and the paddle is like, the clutch paddle can't be swapped to the other side or anything like that. It's literally just there, but it all felt really good. Their wheels felt really premium. I didn't get to race on their rig. I even had a couple guys come up to me from viewers from the channel, and they were like, dude, have you tried the SimLab seat? And they're right, it's super cozy. Speaking of wheels, I stopped by this booth called Cube Control. GS1 and Cube Control, I really didn't attempt to network with them. I didn't talk about my channel. I didn't talk about products. It's one of those things where those products cost so much that I don't think I can justify like holding one in my hand and being like, you should buy this. It's just, to me, it's all not that serious. So maybe someday we'll get into like wheels with screens on them, but for now on the channel, those things, although they're wonderful and stuff like that, the price point just doesn't appeal to me. And that's just kind of what that is. I did spend some time over at the SimuCube booth. I did get some information from their marketing team. They were interested in working together. Another company where the price is high, I did interview SimuCube. I asked the guy, I said, if my friend had a Moza wheel and he came to me and he said, dude, this is what my Moza wheel does, and he was talking mad shit, and I wanted to push one thing in his face that my SimuCube ultimately does better. Like, what's the one feature I can be like, yo, Sean, let's use Sean for an example. He's a Moza guy. I could be like, Sean, my SimuCube can do this. And the guy's answer was just like, he was like, the guy's answer, I'll see if I can pull the audio. My Moza does this kind of thing. Like, what is the one feature that SimuCube has that like really sets them apart, do you feel?
I think one of the biggest things is how it feels.
Come on, you gotta have something better than that. The feel, like, I get that SimuCube is on a higher tier than all the others, and Asetek is kind of up there with them, and the feel is supposed to be better, but it's not objectively that different. So I kind of led him into an answer. I was like, can you talk to me a little bit about your guys' ability to profile switch the paddock? I think it's called the SimuCube paddock. And once he got to telling me details about that, I was very interested. But I just thought it was funny. I was like, what's the one thing about your wheel that stands out? And he said, the feel. And to me, I was like, I guess I would have to have a SimuCube product in my hands to be like, the feel is objectively better. But it's just that whole force feedback and the feel and the wheel, like, that stuff's not for me, because I think most direct drive wheels all feel really good. Please don't eat me alive in the comments, my force feedback demigods or whatever. But no, SimuCube was really cool. They had their new pedals there, which were kind of bizarre to me. It was like, they looked like, I was like, oh, are these like a light version of the active pedal? Because they kind of look like it. And he was like, oh, no, these are just pedals. And I was like, oh, and he told me like $500 or $450, and I was like, I also stopped by the Husinfeld booth, Husinkfeld. I need to ask him how to say that. I got to see their new Batman wheel, is what I'm calling it. It looks like a Batman wheel. I thought the design was really cool. I don't really know how much of that thing they're gonna sell. I wanted to ask them that in a market where sim racers, their customer, is so demanding on the realism and the immersion of a product, why go with a concept wheel? You know, like, sim racers, they don't really like fictional tracks. Your hardcore sim racers that would be spending that money, they don't really like fictional cars. They like everything to be immersive and real world. They like their branded things. And so to me, I was like, I just wanted to know like what the thought process was behind bringing forth something so concept oriented. The buttons were really weird feeling, but I think it was a prototype. I saw OC Sim Racer say that he's like, I'm not sure why these are here, and he pointed at the pinball machines. The pinball machines were a great addition. I love that kind of stuff. Also, wonderful idea from Stern Pinball. They didn't have salesmen there or anything. They just set up the machines and let it be. And that's perfect for the people who brought +1s who don't care about sim racing. My dad sat and played pinball like all day. So it was really cool. The pinball machines were great. I also love like the handcrafted look of Stern Pinball machines. To me, that booth was a total win. And I next year when I go, I hope that Stern Pinball is there again. That was so cool. I did talk to a couple companies, PC building companies. The one I liked the most was Built PCs. I did talk to them about possibly working together in the future. They're still a new company and they're not really doing a lot with content creators, but I am keeping my eye on them because just the vibe there was really good. But what drew me to their booth is interesting because it wasn't like a fancy build or anything. What drew me to their booth was they had a Alienware OLED monitor. I guess I've never seen an OLED. Jesus, dude, the color was unbelievable. I have to get one. They had Hollow Knight Silk Song on the monitor, and the colors were just like beyond my imagination, dude. It was unbelievable. And they sat and talked to me for a while. They were telling me about their business and how it's growing and how things are going. It was really cool. It was a great conversation with those guys. I also got to chat with Alexander PC. It seemed like more of an established company. They were really good as well. I know they've worked with creators like Sarah Nochi and things like that. So, oh, my boy's coming up to see me. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here, mush. They have to see your head. There it is. My boy. My boy. I know nothing about this company besides this card, but this was just a one guy at a single booth. I didn't even take video of it, but he makes custom wheels for, I believe, Moza, Logitech, and one other company. He doesn't do Simagic yet, but his custom wheels are really good. So if you guys want to, go check that out. Oh, and also one thing you can look forward to if you go to one of these sim racing expos is that all the booths have like things to give out. You know, you pay for your ticket in, your attendance, admittance? Wait, what is it? What is it, Whit? You pay for your, I said admittance, that can't be right. Admission. Admission. So you pay for your admission in, and then the booths also have like things to hand out. You get like business cards, you get stickers, you get, I got like a pint glass from Alexander PCs, all that kind of stuff. It was really fun. At one point I told my dad that I was like, hey, you can get like this free stuff from the booths. And he's like, oh, do I have to talk to anybody? And I was like, well, I guess you don't have to. And he didn't end up getting a whole lot of stuff, but I do have a clip of him approaching me with his goodie bag. What'd you get? What'd you get?
I just got that cup, but I couldn't figure out how to get a bag, so I went up and they gave me one up there.
Oh, nice. Okay, okay.
Yeah. And it came with the stickers and
okay.
Some other stuff.
I also got to meet lots of cool people at the Sim Racing Expo. This is somebody actually in our racing community. This is Tracklicious. His name is Eric. Very, very nice dude. And if you want somewhere to do like league racing, this is the place to go. And I actually believe that Eric will be hosting our next series. They will be, I guess I'll be hosting, but he will be helping run it. We're talking MX-5s on iRacing, and we're gonna talk about ways to get all of you in at almost no cost to that series. So that's gonna be pretty cool. Great chat with him. And yeah, Eric's an awesome dude. Also, I got to meet some creators that I follow, which was really cool. I got to see Matt Malone win an MX-5 race at the thing. I didn't say hi or anything. He had quite the following around him. I think he was probably the biggest influencer at that place, or sim racer, you know. So that was very cool. He did win the race I watched. I actually looked over. My dad was sitting like in the chairs at the competitive event, which was really cool. You're talking like over 20 sim rigs all next to each other, and then commentators on the big screen with an audience. That was a really neat experience because I've always seen that stuff in like Halo competitive multiplayer, you know, like esports, but I've never seen it in the sim racing sense. It was really cool. I also got to try out a brand new video game. I got to try out Project Motor Racing. The game itself I thought felt really good. I did an Aston Martin GT3 on Motherboard, actually. It was the whole race felt really good. There was some weird stuff with like the perspective when you brake, the camera lunges forward, and I thought I didn't think it was very good, but he told me all that stuff was like adjustable. I also tested their damage model. I ran the car as hard as I could into a barrier at the end of the lap, and he told me that car specifically doesn't have brake points. So it did smash up, but nothing came off the car. But he said most of the cars in the game do have detachable parts, which to me is always a good thing, because the more stuff flying around the track, the more it feels like a real race. It feels chaotic. There are breakpoints on the cars, but not all of them. And I'm guessing that's down to the manufacturer and how they can get away with it. Because I know a lot of car manufacturers don't like the cars being put in the game and then being torn to pieces, which is why BeamNG doesn't have real car models in it. Overall, the Sim Expo for me was a very positive experience. It was just a great mood going all around. And I really hope to attend next year. If they have it, I hope they have it again. This was the first year I think they were testing the waters. It seemed wildly successful, especially on Saturday, probably the busiest day is when I went. So much that people, like I said, were scanning QR codes to hold their place in line for testing the simulators.
Hello, my wife is demanding attention. But anyway, oh my God.
But anyway, that's pretty much it. It's a different video than normal. I just wanted to get on here, and I at least wanted to say something about it, because I know people were asking, you know, what I thought about the Sim Racing Expo. So I think this about wraps it for me. I'm about to call Mr. Road, my dad, and have him come get me, like a kid getting picked up from a slumber party or something. And while this isn't the most well put together video, I didn't do a lot of filming on the day. Ultimately, this was just a weekend for me to go experience some sim racing culture outside of this little attic, and then just kind of share a little bit with you guys. Maybe next year we'll get like a GoPro or something, and we'll actually do some like legit interviews and things like that. I definitely gained a lot of confidence on the day of the expo to talk to companies, to talk to people, something I haven't had to do on the channel yet. I haven't had to do a lot of real world like confrontation in sim racing. So it was a cool experience for me, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next one. But anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. I always appreciate you. If you're new here, like and subscribe. This is just some lighthearted sim racing content for you today, and I will catch you on the next one. Goodbye. Oh, she's beautiful. Look at her. Look how beautiful she is.